Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
All right, we're joined by Lynn and John Haxton, and we're going to talk. We already talked. Listen, call them up, talk about that T-rail system from Haxton's. It's really, really cool, and I got a brand new sled, and I'm trying to figure out how and if I should do that, because I really like it. It's just slick. It's easy.
Literally slick.
And if literally slick. And if you were to look at my boat right now, on one side of the boat, because of the different technology and the bow mounts, this and that, I've got 6 sliders on one side of my boat for accessories and how to mount everything up. And it does get very annoying trying to move those things around. So it's one of those things to look into. But seats, I think that's one of the things that you're most well known for. Is that safe to say? Or is it tops?
Seats and tops.
Seats and
Seats
tops.
and tops. Well, we're going to talk about seats.
Okay.
First things first, let's talk about this swivel. You go ahead and say it.
So it's a quick disconnect swivel.
Thank you. If I said that wrong, she's going to correct me. We've seen stuff like this in the past, but I've never seen one that was made like this before. Is this like a Haxton thing, something that you came up with on your own?
It's a diversion of something we've seen out there that we developed and to make ourselves.
And it's super robust. I mean, this thing, it looks pretty relatively simple to utilize.
It's very simple. Yeah. Nothing to corrode, nothing to break. This part mounts to your seat base, your seat box. This mounts very easily to the bottom of the seat. Makes it really easy for those of you that have, 6 seats in your boat. If you only want to have 4, makes it really easy. You just slide this guy off. And you can take your seats out, and this is all that's left.
I've seen them in the past, and they would not do this. They would get corroded, or something would go funky, or they would have ball bearings around the rim, and they would get shot, and they wouldn't spin. Right. There's no options for that in this one. It's pretty simple.
No, it just glides on itself. Yeah.
You made a point, though, that not necessarily in all sleds, but a lot of sleds, especially smaller ones, folks will take and put a couple up on either the fish box lid or something like that.
Up on the step, where
they can pop seats on and off if they need to.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's super slick. This is something that they can just go right to you and purchase and put on themselves, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's universal. I'm assuming just because of the way that those are cut, it's universal for that?
Same whole pattern that everything has.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's kind of an industry standard.
So when you're an industry standard, okay, I like the way you put that. So all of them, in theory, should fit?
Should, in theory.
Should, okay, in theory. I will screw it up. I've done it many times when I'm trying to mess with those seats.
If they don't, we can walk you through it.
No, he's going to go, no, just leave it here. We'll take care of it for you. Okay.
We can do that.
Seat bases. When I was over there last time, you guys had a seat base that I kind of fell in love with. There's no real place that I can use it in my sled, but for folks that have windshield boats or even open sleds that want to put them on their seat boxes, which there's a lot of people that do that, a lot of guides in particular, and then a lot of private folks like myself. Hydraulic seat bases, but they're always made out of aluminum. They're always kind of rickety. You had a stainless version as well.
So there is a new stainless one coming out by Shockwave.
Okay.
We are a pretty good sized distributor for Shockwave here in the Northwest. A lot of people are going to be familiar with the S5. It's an aluminum based, which is fabulous. It's a fabulous product. But they have recently come out with a stainless steel one. For all of you guys doing, buoy tin, ocean fishing, all of that kind of stuff, it's a great product. It is a little bit on the expensive side. They run almost $2,000 a piece. We are offering as an introductory offer, we should have them in this week. They were supposed to be here Friday. I would have one here otherwise. But we're going to give 20% off.
Oh, wow.
Mention Outdoor GPS and we'll get you 20% off
very cool.
that $2,000.
So not alone is it going to be just super comfortable when you're right, because that's why I fell in love with the thing. I sat in it, 200 pounds, and that thing kind of flexed nicely. You can adjust it to whatever that you want to have, but you don't have to worry about the corrosion anymore.
No corrosion. Some of the benefits to the Shockwave is it runs off of a Fox shock, which much like your motocross bikes and such.
All right.
So you pump it up with the air. You don't have to adjust your air very often because there is actually a trigger on it that adjusts from soft to medium to firm so that it adjusts the ride. You can switch that thing to super squishy to almost no movement.
Gotcha.
The one thing the Shockwave has that I don't know of any other suspensions that have it, but there is a dial so you can adjust the rebound.
So it doesn't shoot you back up.
As you know, most of our suspensions are kind of a pogo stick.
Sure.
And so it allows us to just soften that, you know, so we're not launching you overboard.
So a nice upgrade for saltwater boats, offshore boats, and for that matter, for anybody.
Anybody.
Right?
Yeah, anybody. But
if you don't have to worry about the corrosion, which I think I've never owned a boat with them, but I've seen them in other boats, especially saltwater boats, where they are corroded and they get a little grindy. So that might be nice not to even deal with that.
Yeah, because there's no powder coating to chip, any of that kind of stuff. The aluminum ones are great. They're lightweight, less expensive. But the stainless, I think, is going to be a really great option for a lot of the guides out there, especially, you know, because corrosion is definitely an issue. There's a lot of exposure.
And depending on the boat you're in, sometimes you get wet. Everything gets wet.
Yes.
Also, though, it just mounts right to the bottom of the seats that you guys produce, and then if everybody has different seats, whatever it is, those will work as well.
Work as well.
Yep.
All right,
so there's different options, you know, as to height that you want it and stuff, what swivels we're going to use, but we have a lot of different configurations that we can do to help you get to the right spot with those.
So now I got to talk about the other thing that you're most commonly known for, along with your seats, which, by the way, my favorite right here with the armrest that pops up, just kind of keep that in mind. Tops, we get a lot of questions about that, in particular, having you come in today. A couple of questions on our Facebook page in particular were about repairs for tops. Not complete replacement, but especially now, folks are really got their boats out. They're finding things that were either torn or they tore them this year when they were putting it all together. Availability. How difficult is it to get in was the #1 question.
For repairs, depending on the complexity of it, it might be something, I mean, if it's a side curtain needs a new window plastic put in it, we can have it turned around typically in a couple of days.
Okay.
No appointment necessary, just drop it off.
All right, so it's not like something where if it was normal repairs, not some crazy thing, a couple day turnaround, they don't have to be without their boat for a month.
No, no, I mean, if it's an extensive repair, it might take a little bit longer, but
how about full tops? How long does it take to put a full top on?
Typically, turn around, bring it in Monday, have it back out by Friday.
Okay, makes sense, because it's all custom, right?
All custom.
Right.
You know, everything that you guys do, nothing really comes off the rack.
Tops, we make from scratch.
Sure, with stainless steel and all the fancy stuff, if you want it.
If you
want it. We just don't do square tube.
Gotcha.
I don't believe in square tube.
Okay, he was very specific about that. Why? Why are you, what's the deal there?
Is your fishing pole square?
Nope, for a reason.
Why is that? That's why your boat top shouldn't have square tube in it.
Okay.
The round distributes the pressure evenly.
Okay.
And they're less likely to buckle.
All right, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I've heard that before about square tops and this and that. So the round tubing, myself, it's all stainless steel. If I ever have a top built, if it's a bimini or a full, it's always stainless steel. And the last top that I had you build for me, it was a bimini, and you actually double tubed the thing.
That's what we do, all of them.
You do all of them that way?
So it's aluminum. Those are aluminum tubes, but we will upgrade to stainless steel fittings. But yes, it is 7/8 inch tubing, and there's a stick of 3/4 stuck inside of it before we bend it. So it's not just part of it, it's the entire frame.
All right, interesting. That's why I could hang on the thing without it breaking. I did that on purpose, just to test the theory out. Okay, so we got just a little, how much time we got, Ryan? We got a couple minutes? Okay, so we're down to our last minute here. So one thing that people might not know that Haxton's does for folks that own boats. This is called putting your guests on the spot.
Why'd you do that to me?
Well, we of course do carpeting.
We do, we do carpet for sure, decking. We replace floors. We do thermalite floors, or Kusa board, some people call it.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. 3/4 inch MDO plywood is kind of the standard, but Kusa board is the upgrade for that.
Okay, yeah, lasts longer. Made out of a different material.
It's impervious to water.
Right.
Yeah.
And the material, you got to remind me because you've had to do this in the past. The material that we put on the bottom of my drift boat.
Gator step.
Gator step.
Yes.
What is that material called? Are you familiar?
It's a EV.
Gator step.
Gator step.
EV foam, I think.
That drew a lot of attention, and now folks are. It wasn't just for drift boats. It's for all boats.
All boats.
Sure.
So that is one that I would seriously look into.
Yeah, Gator Step is a brand. There's other brands as well.
Yeah, and I fell in love with those people. The way that they came in and just the way that they measured it, everything turned out perfect in the drift boat with so many different little angles. Not a big space, but so many different little cuts and different angles. They did it perfectly. I have a question, though, on that. Can you put it over the top of diamond plate?
It doesn't stick great to diamond
Doesn't
plate.
stick well. Okay.
Yeah. I've done it,
stick.
but
It's not great.
You wouldn't recommend it?
No.
Okay. At least they're honest about it. First things first, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming on the air.
Thank you.
It's not easy, but now it's getting easier, though, isn't it?
It's easier. You make it easy.
Okay, good. John, thanks for coming in.
You bet.
I'm glad you made it back from San Diego. You're not going anywhere yet? I still have to wrap up the segment.
Oh,
Looked like you were
okay.
walking away.
I was departing.
It's time to go.
Let alone great people, family-owned, locally owned, Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery. Check them out if you want to get some upgrades on your boats. All right, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, I've got Dale Murph with a live report from the coast. Clamming. They're chasing razor clams right now, so if you're trying to decide on what you might want to do this week going into the 4th of July weekend, this might just give you another option. And Pete from Wheeler's got a question about eggs. We'll have that as well when we come back from this break.